Barbers from the 2nd District of Surigao del Norte is recognized for his privilege.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I rise today on a matter of personal and collective privilege. My subject, the trolls and our adventures with them. Personal, as I am their victim. Collective, as we have all been victims in one way or the other. The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is that good men do nothing. Thus says Edmund Burke. Republic Act number 10175, or the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, was enacted 12 years ago. Some of the more important provisions of the law, specifically Section 9, mandated that the National Bureau of Investigation, the Philippine National Police, as well as the Department of Justice, to implement the provisions of the law. And Section 10 gave them the powers for this purpose. Section 26 of the same law created the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, or the CICC, under the Office of the President, for the same purpose, and enumerated its powers and functions under Section 27. Alas, despite these provisions, Madam Speaker, cybercrimes are committed every single minute, unabated and seemingly unstoppable. The lack of visible active prevention, intervention, suppression, and prosecution of the perpetrators is felt by the aggrieved citizenry. Despite the powers given to these agencies, Madam Speaker, criminals are having a heyday every day in the web. We seem to be helpless. To state the obvious, Madam Speaker, dozens or hundreds, if not thousands of trolls, probably paid by pogo and drug money, relentlessly attack personalities with total impunity. This has been happening for years without let-up, Madam Speaker. They get away with it. That is why they continue to thrive. It is a business that has become so profitable without having to pay taxes, no liability, and with the pleasure of being able to ruin reputations of people without having to worry about getting caught and punished. The ultimate goal of the trolls, Madam Speaker, is to create chaos and disorder by sowing false information, confusion, fear, and slander their subjects. We must not let them win. Law and order must be preserved to ensure peace and stability in our society. Trolling is the means to destroy this peace and create chaos. These trolls get paid, and we all know that. The sheer number of trolls and the amount of false information that they flood the web with will give you an idea on the value or amount of money needed to pay them. Who is the innocent person who is bound to benefit from their trolling? Will this innocent person disburse enormous amount of money and laugh out loud at the false information being disseminated? Obviously, Madam Speaker, the ones funding these malicious campaigns are the ones hurting the most. They are also the ones who have the vast financial resources to pay these trolls. And who could they be? One thing is for sure, Madam Speaker, the money involved is staggering, which can only probably come from illegal pogos and drug syndicates operating in the country. Madaling ubusin ang hindi pinaghihirapan, ika nga. I rise to represent the aggrieved parties, which include no less than the President, government officials, including myself, and ordinary citizens who have been victims of these cybercrimes. I call to action all our agencies in charge of investigating these crimes to be more active and make their presence felt so that our people may be protected by the civil servants who draw salaries from their taxes. Do not be passive and wait for complaints to be filed before you act on the obvious transgressions of the law. I am filing my complaint here now, Madam Speaker, and I hope everybody's listening. We have been targets of these possibly pogo and drug money sponsored trolls and vloggers. I was just watching in the sidelines, waiting for some action from the PNP, the NBI, and the CICC. But I waited too long, Madam Speaker. I hope I'm not waiting in vain. Today, I am telling every peace-loving, truth-believing, and God-fearing good men and women of this country, let us not allow evil to triumph. Let us do everything for good to always reign on this land. To all you trolls and malicious vloggers, let me say this. It is all right to criticize us politicians. Kasama po sa trabaho at sa hazards ng public service yan. Pwede nyo kaming i-criticize hanggang magsawa kayo because we cannot be onion-skinned. You can criticize us all you want as long as your criticisms are anchored on the discharge of our official duties and functions. But when you cross the line, Madam Speaker, and impute malice on what we do and attack our persons, you cease to be protected by your constitutional rights. Even the Supreme Court ruled that when your statements are done with malice, you are liable under the law. Panindigan na lang ninyo ang paninira ninyo. Hindi naman pwede na porke politiko, pwede mo nang akusahan ng lahat ng krimen at kasinungalingan, tapos wala ka ring pananagutan? Ano ka? Siniswerte? Matapang ka manira. Matapang kang mangutya. Tapos ayaw mong sumagot? Paano kung halimbawa kami naman ang magsabi na ang pangit mo o ang baho ng hininga mo o iniwang ka ng kinakasama mo na napakaputi kasi ang itim-itim mo at ang liit-liit ng tenga mo? O wala ka namang kwentang abogado. Puro ka lang media at pasikat sa media, pero sa korte, kulata ka naman. Kita nyo? Paninirang puri na ang ginagawa ninyo. Hindi na yan protektado ng mga batas. Ang batas ay para sa lahat. Hindi lang para sa iilan. Kung may nalalaman kayo na freedom of speech, wala naman pong freedom to defame, freedom to insult, or freedom to slander. Lahat ng freedom at karapatan ay hindi po absolute o walang katapusan. Kahit nga ang pinakauna at pinakaimportanteng right to life at liberty ay pwedeng alisin ng Estado upang pangalagaan ang buong lipunan at ang mga mamamayan nito. You may be imprisoned or executed upang panagutan ang mga kasalanan sa lipunan. No, Madam Speaker, enough is enough. We will not stand idly by anymore and allow your evil to triumph. We will do everything to make sure that you are brought to your senses and punished for your abuses and wanton disregard of the laws that safeguard everyone equally. In closing, Madam Speaker, I would like to extend my regards to all the trolls and the malicious vloggers out there and wish them the best of luck as they journey into another dimension called reality. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Salamat. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we refer the speech of the Honorable Ace Barbers to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action.
There's a motion. Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we terminate the